monster slot just before lunch, but I'll try and keep this as brief as possible for you all. We're actually here in a slightly different remit today. We're here not to talk about AI functions or ML functions or anything like that, but really just to talk about how we can support your industries and the work that you guys do. I see some familiar faces in the room, and I know that some of you we've discussed already about how you've previously used Overleaf or you've used LaTeX and tech services in the past. But really this is an introduction for you guys today and hopefully something that you can use moving forward in your day-to-day work. But I want to really sort of kick off with this view here. This is a map of scientific collaborations. This dates back to 2009, but if we look back over the last 30 to 40 years, there's been a massive increase in collaborations internationally. And in fact, publications now within research are actually more favoured by publicists if they see international authorship. So it's really sort of testament to how we've moved forward within the community in terms of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Recently, as we all know, the pandemic actually forced a lot of that international collaboration to take place, and Overleaf was a key part of that. We saw close to 2 million people join our platform alone in 2020. Which I think just goes to show that level of commitment to collaboration that we needed to have at the time, but is also a reflection of what we see here, just this immense amount of international collaboration. And actually, let's look around the room today. It's clear that is the case. But collaboration isn't always easy. And as this comic clearly represents from phdcomics.com, and I think many of you will be very familiar with this, you go through your final documentation, you send it to your supervisor, and they come back with comments, you get revision 2. It goes back again with comments, it goes back again and again and again. And what you're ending up with is this absolutely crazy file name, and why did I come to grad school? Well, it's a fair question. But a lot of this happens, and you end up with this really difficult process. How do I manage this? How do I enable myself to collaborate with others, your supervisor, your colleagues, whoever it may be, and allow yourself to do that? Well, traditionally with tech and LaTeX, there'd be a desktop editor, something that is phenomenally difficult to use. You'd have to download the right packages, you'd have to share a zip file with someone, you'd end up with conflicting installs or conflicting packages, renamed files, everything. What we sought to do was change that, and really that's where Overleaf comes in, is we've developed something that is a collaborative LaTeX platform. Think Google Docs, but for the scientific and STEM community. What we're offering here is a means of you guys working together and producing documents that whether you're publishing these or not, or even if you're using these internally, you can produce a document which is effective and clear whilst maintaining that sort of scientific prose in a package that makes sense. It's accessible on the cloud or on premise. We have 10 million users now. We're about to turn 10 years old in December, so it's fantastic for us to have the 10 and 10. We're very happy about that. I think it's testament to how far Overleaf has come. But it is the most popular LaTeX-based platform for writing and collaboration that's around today. We're used heavily by students. I know a lot of you have said that you did your thesis in Overleaf, or you used LaTeX, or you have a few more nodding heads, great. And we're now looking to see how we can take that outside of the academic environment and bring it to businesses. I wish I could promote the businesses that we're working with, but I'm legally obliged that I can't say anything. But fun fact, if anybody has come from London or has flown into London at any point and you've been in the T5 terminal car park, our founders were the ones who devised this driverless network. John Lees-Miller and John Hammersley were working together as mathematicians and physicists and thought, why on earth can we not collaborate easily when we're doing this document? And they were sitting next to each other, sharing zip files, and in the end, Overleaf was born over a kitchen table in London. And here we are today with 10 million users. So for those of you that aren't familiar, LaTeX is a form of, it's a coding language effectively, similar to HTML. You input a code, and what comes out is what you see here. So usually in Word or other word processors, you'd have a really difficult time of trying to input equations or trying to sort of get this to format correctly. With LaTeX, you don't have that problem. As you see here, you've put in the parameters at the start, you're putting in what you need it to show, and on the right-hand side here is what you get. So it's a nice, clean way of working. And for many of you in what you're doing now, it will allow you to sort of demonstrate your arguments a lot easier. It's the commands describe the structure and the meaning, and the output is then clear on the right-hand side. Now, as I mentioned, conventionally LaTeX would have that, but you'd have difficulty in sharing it and collaborating with others. So what Overleaf has done is provided this Google Docs style method where you can collaborate in real time with any of your colleagues wherever they are in the world. There's also a chat function which goes alongside this, as well as other premium features as well, which enables you to work more effectively. This is a real game changer for anyone that's within this particular environment. You know, being able to do this and being able to avoid those enormous document titles that we were talking about in the comic, and just being able to work cleanly with one another. This is why people love us, and this is why people are now adopting Overleaf more readily. But what does that look like? This is more of a benefit to whoever is actually going to be buying this. You know, you guys will be using it. There are others that will actually want to buy it, want to justify it, and of course that's important too, is to be able to give these guys an indication of how it's being used. We provide a hub which gives metrics as to the usage. So you can see here, this is an example from a university which has agreed to share their information, but this could be a business, this could be, we've recently signed on with Bourne, fairly prominent pharmaceutical business here in Germany, and they will also have a similar metric to this. How many users you've got, what's repetition, what's the collaboration you're seeing, who are you actually collaborating with. This is really useful data for people that are actually looking to buy the software and give you guys this tool. And it's something that we see a lot in terms of people coming to us and saying, well, how can I want to use Overleaf, I want to engage with LaTeX, with what I do, how can I ensure that people can actually want to buy this, and how can I sort of promote this internally? And this is one of the ways, and this is giving people access to see what it is that's important to them and how it's benefiting your work, your business, and the commercial functions behind that. One of the best examples we have of this is CERN. I don't need to introduce CERN to this audience, I'm sure, but we worked with them back in 2019. We published a blog about this. You can find it on our website. I encourage you all to visit our blog. It's got some fantastic examples of what we've done for academia and business. But as you can see here, we had an enormous uptick in usage, effectively immediately after adoption. And this is, again, testament to just how easy to use Overleaf is, and how I appreciate everyone's fairly engaged with certain other platforms. We'll come to that in a bit. But CERN diverted from this very quickly, having seen the benefits that LaTeX and Overleaf as a whole could bring. I'd thoroughly encourage you all to view this on our website. It's a great read. It's just really interesting to see how we've supported that community, and I think it'll lead into what you guys do as well, obviously in a slightly different function. We're also very proud of the feedback we receive. This is some testimonials, real testimonials that we've had online. And actually I've heard some more since I've been here over the past 2 days, so thank you for them. It's great to hear that those of you that have used it have had positive feedback, and also some great comments as well. And please keep them coming. If you've got any feedback for Overleaf as how we could improve or how we can develop, let us know. We're always keen to add new features, and it's something we're doing continuously. But you know, easy transition to LaTeX. It's a key one. Myself, I'm a mechanical engineer by training. I wasn't introduced to LaTeX until more recently, and I now haven't touched Microsoft Word since. I think many people in the room would agree with that. So it's great to see that. But you know, that's the key point here is why is it important to you? And I don't think I need to say any more than just have this meme. This came out a few years ago, but is still incredibly relevant as to the sheer difficulties in using Microsoft Word. You move an image, you try to add an equation, you try to do anything to it, and it's a nightmare, it's a disaster. The benefit of LaTeX is being able to structure your structure your document far more effectively, and being able to actually avoid this the swarm of commas and the sirens in the distance when you're trying to structure your document and present that to whoever it is, your supervisor, to the research delegates, whatever it may be. This is where we're coming from. We like to think we're leading a revolution away from traditional word processors, and we invite you all to join us in that. And what I want to do now is give you an indication as to how. So, We have two key solutions. One is in the cloud. This is the quickest way to get up and running in Overleaf. You can get online with it's a freemium model. You can get online for free, and you can then expand from there as you require, based on what your user needs are and how big your group is. Ultimately, if you have 10, 12, 100 collaborators, we can support that. It just depends on what model you're wanting to go for. But this is really the easiest way to get online. So if you've used Tech and LaTeX before, as I said, no difficult package management. You've got the easy collaboration options. You can work in real time with your colleagues, and we also have some third-party integrations with more on the way. So the ones mentioned there are already active. We're also working to get Grammarly on board as well now. And another feature which isn't in this presentation, but come and see us, is rich text. So for those of you that aren't familiar with LaTeX, or you're working with people that aren't, rich text is a way in which we're presenting LaTeX like a Word document. We're not wanting to copy Microsoft Word, because we're better than that, but we are wanting to include people that aren't necessarily familiar with source code. And this is the way that we're doing that, is giving people an option to view a document in a rich text format, and therefore edit at the same time as people go through the LaTeX basics. So on the cloud, quick and easy to get on board. You can do that straight from the website, and you can register for free and then take it from there. However, as I mentioned, we're now looking to promote this for businesses as well. And one of the key factors for businesses is data security, understandable, as particularly where we are today in Germany. Obviously, GDPR data regulation is very strict, as it is across most of Europe, but I know it's taken very, very seriously here. And so we wanted to offer something that would accommodate that accordingly. So we now have Server Pro, which is our on-premise solution. This is hosted in your own servers, behind your own firewall, so your IT and your management teams don't need to concern themselves with the data security piece. We have a single sign-on available and direct access to projects for the lead administrators, which means that if there's any confidential information, everyone can view this, the administrators can view what everyone is doing and control that accordingly. We've had some great feedback on this. We're growing it significantly already with some significant customers across the globe. And really this is where we see not only the future of where Overleaf can go for businesses, but also in terms of providing that security for those that need it. Really, as I said, I wanted to try and keep this brief, so I know there's some stomachs rumbling and everyone wants to get a drink and get some food. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say thank you very much. If you have any questions, come and see us at the stand, or grab me after this, and find us at overleaf.com. If you've got any questions, you can ask us on there, and we'll take you through the next steps. But thank you very much for your time.